Hello and welcome to the first Big Friday sports show of the semester. I'm Parker Abels.
And I'm Madeline Hunter. We are looking forward to a great semester of sports, so let's get right into it. OU men's basketball is feeling hot coming off their first Big 12 win of the season on the road against West Virginia. The Sooners earned the 72-62 win over the Mountaineers, led by Sooner forward Tanner Groves' 21 points.
Now the Sooners are heading down south to take on the #1 ranked Auburn Tigers in the Big 12 SEC Challenge. Tip-off is at 1 p.m. Saturday at Auburn Arena. Jacob Groves weighs in on what he thinks will be a packed arena on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we kind of embrace it. I mean, our team loves, the big crowd, and coach always says that the loudest crowd means kind of the quietest crickets after the game, because that's what we want to hear after we beat them.
The 18th ranked OU women's basketball team has a huge Red River showdown tomorrow against the 9th ranked Texas Longhorns. The Sooners are coming off a blowout Bedlam win last Wednesday night, 84-58. This will be the first matchup of the season between the two rivals.
Our Game Day U Hoops women's team sat down with Coach Jenny Baranczyk to talk about the big Bedlam win and preview the upcoming matchup with the Longhorns.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Game Day U. While we don't have a full show for you this week, we still do have some exclusive content. I'm Tyler DeLuca, joined by Kenzie Eiserman and Dakota McDowell-Wapakichi. Last night, OU had a big game against in-state rival Oklahoma State. And we are now joined by head women's basketball coach Jenny Baranczyk. Coach, you had your first Bedlam game last night and you got the win. How are you and how is your team feeling?
It's always fun, isn't it? Just any kind of a rivalry, and you know what? I'm really proud of our women. I think that it's been quite a journey. We've had, a lot of different things between COVID injuries, all the just different challenges that you have, but to be able to come out on the floor and just play the way that we were able to play, it's a lot of fun. I mean, this team is fun. It's really, really an awesome group.
Hey, Coach. So heading into your next game against Texas, what type of emotions are you feeling?
We're just excited to continue to respond. I mean, we've had some great games this season. We've played some great opponents, and obviously this is going to be another one, but we get to do it at home, and so we're really excited to be able to have another team come in, especially Texas. I mean, they're a highly ranked team. They're a great team. It's a huge, obviously Oklahoma, Texas, it's a big rivalry. So we're excited to be able to play at home. We're excited about our fan base that's continuing to grow. And honestly, people that come watch this team really fall in love with this team. And so that's what I'm excited is for us to just continue to get more and more people to be able to come in and be part of what we're doing.
Coach, the Texas Longhorns do really well at not turning over the ball. They have almost 100 less turnovers than the Sooners have. So what are you going to have to do to cause some turnovers on Saturday?
We've got to be able to get those 50-50 balls, I mean, and and sometimes when you can really get those 50-50s, they cause turnovers, right? The more pressure, the more aggressive that we are really on both ends. We're not going to come into the game and say, okay, this is the key to the game. That's one thing. We got to play our game. We have to be who we are. And we want to be able to get up and down. We want to be able to have fun, and we'll be ready to do that.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for your time and best of luck against Texas this weekend. We'll see you next week.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Boomer.
Stick with us on Big Friday Sports because our sports reporter Shannon Earhart has what's to come for Sooner softball this season. Plus, we will be highlighting Sunday's AFC and NFC matchups.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. If you're heading out to the basketball game in Lloyd Noble Center tomorrow, it's looking like nice weather, so no reason to not get out and enjoy the game. Temperatures in the 60s, lots of sunshine, a light west wind. Let's go Sooners, and looking for a great atmosphere in the Lloyd Noble Center tomorrow. This is your forecast for the game day at 2 o'clock. Be sure to get out there and watch it.
Thank you, Josh. The OU softball team is starting the year ranked #1 in the polls. OU Nightly's Shannon Earhart has more.
The way we won the World Series last year with literally our back against the wall and it being one of the best World Series ever because every single game was played.
Only one team for Oklahoma athletics hoisted a national championship trophy over their heads in 2021, the OU softball team. But head coach Patty Gasso doesn't live in the past or the future, only in the present.
I told our team we are going to lose games, and I had looks at me like, no, we're not. I'm like, well, let's hope we do, because you don't want to go into postseason without a loss. So we're going to try to win every game we can.
Softball opens its season in sunny Santa Barbara in just 13 days, but they'll be back here in Norman in 14. Now, Marita Hines Stadium won't be the team's stomping grounds for much longer.
Now we have the money. Now we're ready to put a shovel in the ground here pretty quickly. And this has been the most realistic time I've ever felt like this is real. This is really going to happen.
Gasso said there's no exact date to when the new stadium will be built, but she said she does know her players should keep their heads down and continue the grind.
The only thing I think their minds should be focused on is this journey that we're about to take and doing it together, and hopefully we're the last team standing.
That ball's drilled deep to left field. It's a great.
OU wrestling will host number 7 Iowa State tonight at 7 p.m. Only 8 of the Sooners' ranked wrestlers will be competing in the contest due to an injury to senior Mitch Moore. After a dominant win at Northern Illinois, the Sooners hope to continue the momentum at McCaskill Fieldhouse.
The Kansas City Chiefs are hosting the Cincinnati Bengals Sunday in the AFC Championship. The Bengals are looking for their first Super Bowl appearance since 1988, while Kansas City is attempting their third in the last 3 years.
Both teams are coming off nail-biting wins in the divisional round, including Patrick Mahomes' impressive comeback with just 13 seconds left. And in the NFC, the San Francisco 49ers are taking on the Los Angeles Rams in LA.
The Oklahoma City Thunder are home tonight taking on the Indiana Pacers. OKC is looking to snap their 6-game losing streak, and it will be their first time taking the court since Monday's 1-point loss to the Chicago Bulls. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. at the Paycom Center. Thank you for watching Big Friday Sports. I'm Parker Abels.
And I'm Madeline Hunter. We'll be watching all the Sooner sports action this weekend. See you next Friday. Good night.
Hello and welcome to Big Friday Sports. I'm Parker Abels.
And I'm Madeline Hunter. Super Bowl Sunday is this weekend, but before we get to that, we're going to talk some Sooner sports. We have a jam-packed weekend, so let's get right into it. Coming off a huge win over 9th-ranked Texas Tech, the Sooners are headed to Lawrence to face the 8th-ranked Kansas Jayhawks. The Sooners are now 4-7 in the Big 12 and 14-10 overall.
This would be a major upset for OU as Kansas is coming off a nail-biting loss to Texas 79-76 in Austin. Coach Porter Moser was excited about the way his team played and is hoping for a similar effort against a tough Jayhawks team.
For them, they're gonna really be physical. They execute their stuff, and I personally think they run a lot faster at home. I think they really get that thing going. I mean, their transition, it's been noted by a lot of people.
Women's basketball is on a roll as they look to continue their 4-game win streak this weekend against Texas. The Sooners have the number 2 scoring offense in the country and have scored 100 points already 3 times this season.
Taylor Robertson put up 26 points last weekend against West Virginia, leading the Sooners to a 101-99 victory in double overtime. Tip-off is this Saturday at 7 p.m. at the Frank Irwin Center. OU men's tennis is riding high on a 3-game winning streak. They continue their homestand against Alabama tonight. Shannon Earhart breaks down what's ahead for this match. Shannon?
In a little over an hour, the 19th ranked men's tennis team faces 3-4 Alabama. Okay, they're not inside right now because it's a little bit windy as the ball's getting carried here and my hair is going crazy. But inside, they're gonna get a test of what's to come in the future.
In college football, Alabama is the team to beat. And tonight, they're the team to knock down between the white lines.
I mean, it's a big team. It's an SEC team. They have probably a big budget, probably good players. It's going to be pretty tight. We're going to have to fight.
Alabama is unranked, but Coach Nick says every match counts.
You know, when you're playing these Power 5 conferences, I think there's a little extra on the line. And, you know, we want to continue to make our mark in the Big 12 until we move to the SEC. But these SEC matches are big for us, too.
Now, while the men gear up for the Crimson Tide, the women's team has history in a chokehold.
This is the first time they've made it to national indoors, and it's a great opportunity. They play Wisconsin first round, and so, you know, I know they're excited, and they've got a great chance.
Being 12 hours apart won't stop them from being each other's biggest fans.
Our guys and girls are really close. We support each other. We come to each other's matches. We cheer each other on, and our guys will be watching the score lines from home and cheering them on, and just like they'll probably be doing for us.
Now the women play at 6:30, so they might get a chance to watch their counterpart before they take the court. And Coach Nick told me that when he wants fans to come out and enjoy the game, but also bring lots of energy as it is Alabama. Reporting live from Headington Family Tennis Center, Shannon Earhart, OU Nightly.
Like Coach Nick mentioned, this is the first time in program history the Sooners will visit the ITA tournament. They clinched the spot after notching their first top 10 win in program history against number 6 Duke. If the Sooners topple Wisconsin, they will play in Saturday's quarterfinals at 6:30.
The number 1 ranked OU softball team is finally back. Last night, the ladies got a huge 14-0 win on the road against UC Santa Barbara.
They got off to a fast start, scoring 9 runs in the first inning, and the umps called it after 5 innings. The Sooners are back tonight against Loyola Marymount at 5:45 Central as they start the Mark Campbell Invitational.
OU women's gymnastics continues to dominate early in the season, and one key competitor is making a comeback. For the first time this season, senior Olivia Troutman will be returning to the lineup from her knee injury. The Sooners host George Washington tonight at the Lloyd Noble Center.
Second-ranked OU men's gymnastics teams is on the road this weekend, facing Illinois tomorrow at 1 p.m. This is the first time the Sooners are competing since January 29th at the Stanford Open, where they placed second overall, falling to number 1 Stanford.
And next on Big Friday Sports, an Olympic legend is calling it quits. And Super Bowl Sunday is finally here. Find out who a certain Tiger thinks is going to win. Stay tuned as Big Friday Sports continues.
Welcome back to Big Friday Sports. If you are heading out to the women's gymnastics meet tonight at the Lloyd Noble Center, be sure to grab that jacket because although temperatures at 6:45 when the meet starts are going to be relatively in the upper 50s, maybe 60s, temperatures are going to be dropping. The meet ends between 8:30, 9 o'clock, so you're going to need that jacket as you leave. But be sure to head out. Students get in free tonight as you cheer on the number 2 ranked Oklahoma Sooners women's team.
Thanks, Peyton. Super Bowl Sunday is upon us, and the Bengals and Rams are both getting ready for the big day. Matthew Stafford and Joe Burrow are both looking for their first Super Bowl win of their careers.
Both teams are coming off nail-biting wins in the conference championship, winning by 3 apiece, with the Bengals getting a win over the Chiefs in overtime and the Rams sneaking by the 49ers. Rams linebacker and former Super Bowl MVP Von Miller says he's looking to win for his son.
The opportunity presents itself for me to talk about this Super Bowl after he was born. He was only 6 months old when we played in the Super Bowl. So for me to talk to him about, man, you were 6 years old, we won a Super Bowl, here's pictures of you, and here's me, and look at us, and you was just so little, now look at me, I'm old now, and I got no hair, and, you know, I remember how special this team was. You know, Super Bowl helps with everything.
And the 2021 AP Most Valuable Player is Aaron Rodgers.
For the second time in a row, Aaron Rodgers has won the NFL MVP award. Rodgers finished the season with 4,115 yards, 37 touchdowns, and an impressive 4 interceptions. Rodgers is now only 1 MVP away from tying Peyton Manning for the most all-time with 5.
Now Rodgers has to face his future with the Green Bay Packers, deciding whether to return to the organization, go elsewhere, or retire.
The Bengals better watch out because one of their fellow Big Cats has picked the Rams to win the Super Bowl.
Misha, a 10-year-old tiger at Blank Park Zoo, licks the Los Angeles Rams logo, making them her official pick for Super Bowl 56. Blank Park Zoo animals have been correct in picking the Super Bowl winners 8 of the last 11 years.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Parker Abels, and it's time for sports. The Sooners are trying to end a 2-game losing streak to Kansas State this weekend in Manhattan. Last time OU played in Manhattan, the 5th-ranked Sooners almost came back from a 41-23 deficit but fell short of the Wildcats 48-41. Lincoln Riley and the Sooners are well aware of how difficult it is to get a win in the Little Apple.
Always tough to go up to Manhattan and come out of there with a victory. There's been many hard-fought battles up there over the years in my career, and sure this one will be a hard-fought battle as well.
Alabama coach Nick Saban joined the Manning brothers Monday Night Football broadcast last night. During the broadcast, Eli called Eagles QB Jalen Hurts an Oklahoma player. Surprisingly, Coach Saban had nothing but good things to say about Oklahoma and his former player.
And he asked me where he should go, and I said, who has the best players? And he said, Oklahoma. I said, that's where he should go. If you're a quarterback, it's really important that you have good players around.
And look to win the division for the first time since 2018. There's always been some bad blood between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals. After the Bengals whooped the Steelers on Sunday, things didn't get any sweeter. Bengals receiver Tyler Boyd spoke out about the effort of the Steelers late in the game.
The Steelers feel that everybody in the country felt it because the last plays of the game for them, they gave up. You could see it. They had 3 drops in a row, and that's for a team to see that is giving us more power, giving us the antidote to know how good we are.
Cleveland center fielder Bradley Zimmer hit a home run against his older brother Kyle Zimmer last night. Zimmer is the 4th person to hit a home run against their brother in MLB history and the first to do so since 1975. The OKC Thunder had their official media day yesterday, and all the focus was on guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And speaking of media days, David Letterman attended the Brooklyn Nets media day and had some pretty interesting questions for Nets star Kevin Durant.
Just Kevin, KD, why do people call you KD? Can I call you KD? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
My first name is Kevin.
Right.
And my second name, my last name, my second name. My last name is Durant with a D.
KD.
And going from one KD to another, Kayla Davis, back to you.
Yeah, Parker, you know, people might call me that, but my basketball skills aren't quite as good as his.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Carly Murray, and it's time for sports. We've got a show full of Sooner sports, so let's get started. Not only was Caleb Williams named Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week, but he was also named the Davey O'Brien National Quarterback of the Week after a phenomenal performance against Texas Tech. Williams set an OU true freshman record with 402 passing yards and became only one of 3 players in OU history to throw 6 TD passes with no interceptions. Kaylee Tinglestad and Will Blessing catch us up on highlights from the game.
Sooners win in remarkable fashion against the Red Raiders, beating them by 31 points, 52-21. Now, Kaylee, what was the biggest thing you saw from the Sooner team?
I'm going to have to say the Sooners really stepped it up compared to last weekend against KU. A lot less penalties this weekend than last weekend. Everything seemed more fine-tuned. There was a lot of weapons on the offense and the defense. You saw players come back. DTY came back. More of a silent game from DTY this week. DJ Graham had a great game as well. Marvin Mims also on the offensive side of the ball really stepped it up. Haven't seen too much of him since Texas, but this weekend Marvin Mims was present and he had a great game. And another thing, quarterbacks. Will?
Absolutely. Interesting thing from this game, the return of Spencer Rattler to the field, put it in the 4th quarter. Williams, fantastic performance throughout the first 3 quarters, but Rattler also looked pretty solid, and the offense was fairly productive, especially Marcus Major also made a return to the field, and it really allowed, the offense kept producing even though we were at the backups.
And it was really good to see fans cheering for Rattler as he came out on the field. It could have gone 2 ways, but it went towards a good way, and Spencer had a great game when he was in for those 2 drives.
Absolutely. Overall, great game, great atmosphere. That's all we have. For Kaylee Tinglestad, I'm Will Blessing.
On last night's episode of Sooner Sports Bet, the crowd gave Spencer Rattler a standing ovation. Sooner fans still love and appreciate their OG quarterback. And Porter Moser and the Sooners had quite the debut against Rogers State last night at the LNC in an exhibition game. Oklahoma defeated Rogers State 106-57 and held the lead for all but 18 seconds. The Sooners shot 69.9% from the field and held Rogers State to just under 41%. In his post-game interview, Porter Moser praised his defense's effort, but says the work isn't done yet.
Overall, I liked everybody's mentality defensively. I liked their communication. We just got to get better. It's November 1st. We just got to get better, but I liked what I saw so far.
And OU Nightly's very own Liv Wallback got in on the action at the game last Saturday, but not in the way you'd expect. Watch as Tech defenders grab Brooks and throw him right towards Liv as she stood on the sideline in the blue vest. Thankfully, Liv needed no medical attention and is back at work with us. I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't want to be Liv in that situation.
Yeah, I definitely saw that happen on Saturday during the game.
She was right in the action, that's for sure.
For some, eating is just a part of their daily routine, but for others, a relationship with food isn't that easy. While down in Norman Food and Shelter Once for Volunteers, one Oklahoma City nonprofit opened up in the midst of the pandemic. Pear House is a nonprofit helping pregnant women overcome addiction, and they're using some interesting ways to keep the organization growing. Sam chose to give his donations to Norman Food and Shelter after watching a commercial that just didn't sit right with him. Cushing High School football bus crashed on their way home from a game in Oklahoma City last night. The bus driver lost control and flipped the bus on its side after veering off the side of the road. The Cushing High School football team held a prayer vigil on the field after school today for the hospitalized student. Cushing Public Schools says the student is expected to make a full recovery. Olivia, Jesse, back to you. Just a few weeks ago, Weitenheimer and the Sooners took the floor against Kansas the day after her grandfather passed away. Weitenheimer says that winning the game was her way of honoring him. Hello and welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Grace Burget, and you know what time it is. It's time for sports. Let's jump right in. And what a beautiful day. Not only is it sunny outside, but it is also opening day. Ranked OU softball team is on a roll. The Sooners are coming off a series sweep against Iowa State that put them at 25-0 for the first time in program history. And speaking of basketball, I don't know about you guys, but even with an action-packed day of sports, I'm missing some March Madness action. The Final Four of the NCAA tournament kicks off this weekend. Emma and Dayton, you won't want to miss it. And if you haven't watched any MLB action yet this season, today might be the day to start. Today marks the legendary Jackie Robinson Day, and the entire league will be sporting the number 42 in honor of him. Emma and Dayton, you won't want to miss it. Hello and welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Grace Burget, and today is the day all football fans look forward to, the NFL Draft. Thunder fans everywhere probably hope Steven Adams forgets he plays for the Pelicans so we can have him back in OKC. The game tips off at 8 p.m. tonight. Emma and Dayton, you won't want to miss it. Which leads me into my recap point from last night, which is rebounding. I mean, how can it not be rebounding? Texas had 42 rebounds last night, and OU only had 19. 19, that's just simply unacceptable. Charlie Collier led Texas with 15 rebounds, and Maddie Williams led OU with 5 rebounds. And I know, look, with a team full of guards, it's hard to block out a team with a WNBA caliber post player like Charlie Collier, but is it impossible? No. And she said one of the main changes they've had to make on and off the court has been in practice. They've been focusing less on running drills to keep their legs fresh and more on shooting drills, which we've seen has definitely been paying off. She's taking, like you said, more mid-range shots than she's ever taken before. She's driving to the paint more than we've ever seen her drive before. She's just becoming an all-around playmaker for this team. Main point coming into the postseason has got to be rebounding. I've said it before on the show and I'll say it again. Rebounding is the difference between winning a game and losing a game. Sooners' first matchup is against OSU on Friday. Who does OSU have on their starting 5 roster? Natasha Mack, 6'4" senior forward. I mean, she is just a beast. She's averaging 12.3 rebounds and just surpassed Texas's Charlie Collier for that top spot in the Big 12. So rebounding is going to be so crucial for this OU team. I have to disagree once again. I mean, we all know what an amazing team UConn is, and Gino, I mean, like you said, he's amazing. But I just don't think that they have what it takes. Their best player is a freshman. She's never been here before, and I know she's been playing amazing, but the finals are a whole different story. I'm going to have to go with Stanford. They're my favorite team right now. And then lastly, Texas A&M. Texas A&M kind of snuck up on me a little bit. You know, I didn't really pay attention to them much, but the past few weeks, they've somehow wedged their way into my #1 seeds. And I know what you're thinking. Grace, Texas A&M and South Carolina play each other this Sunday. How can they both be 1 seeds? Shouldn't the loser drop to a 2 seed? And my answer to that would be no. You say you're suspect of NC State. I say I'm suspect of Louisville. I can't see how you can have them in your top seeds when they don't play anybody all season. I mean, sure, they were ranked #1 for a while, and their record isn't that bad either, but that's because they don't play anybody.